Pottery is just experimenting. Sometimes the clay just doesn't want to do what you want. Maybe a big pot might turn into several small pots, you know? I am a multimedia artist. I refer to myself as a Tohono O'odham artist. That's part of the larger Tohono O'odham Nation. For the Tohono O'odham community, there's about 33,000 members to our tribe, but there's probably less than 20 full-time potters, and that's working today. This is my full-time job. I also advocate and demonstrate at different places. I always like doing things with my hands. Growing up, it was just me and my mom for a long time in Tucson. She was always working to try to provide for us. There wasn't a lot of kids around. She would buy me craft stuff. So that's kind of where I got my practice down. For about 28 years now, I was a basket weaver. I learned it during high school, and I always just jumped right in. And so that's what I got well known for. Roughly about 8 years now, I've actually been doing traditional Tohono O'odham pottery, which is paddle and anvil style. This is a red clay that comes from the main reservation in an area called Tapawa, just west of the Babakibri Mountains. This is a little added step where I'm just trying to marry these coils, but because I'm not sure about this clay just yet, I just want to make sure that they're really stuck together well. So really, I'm just looking and trying to get a uniform thickness. Traditionally, Tohono O'odham pottery, we're well known for having like an evaporative effect to it. So you can see this pot here, the water has actually started to slowly come out to the surface, and it will keep it cool during the summer. Especially in the desert, you know, it gets so hot. It would help keep that water cool. It also gives it a better taste, more of an earthy kind of taste to it. Right here, all I'm doing is, again, thinning out that wall, but also trying to slowly start shaping it. Especially water pots, you have to kind of treat the inside a little bit different, so that way you're trying to close up the pores and make sure that there's no big holes. I like to shape as I go, and so I usually then start working on the outside. Traditionally, Tohono O'odham pottery was all plainware because it was meant for cooking and water storage. There was only a few instances where you had painted pottery that was usually for ceremonial use. So the paint that I use is hematite paint. So this is hematite that comes from an area southeast of Patagonia, so down more towards the border. And so you can see here, this one just really breaks down easy. So sometimes it's a little softer, sometimes it's a little harder. And this is maybe about a good hour and a half of grinding it on a stone, yeah. So this is hematite mixed with a little bit of clay to kind of help it stick to the pot. And then a little bit of mesquite sap, the clear sap, as a binder. And so this is what they call dip and drag. And you just dip it in your paint and then drag it along the surface. This clay here, it's a pink color. It actually comes from Magdalena in Mexico. This is another one of those clays where for about 2-3 years, I just could not get it to work. It seems like it's gonna work now, hopefully. I kind of have to figure it out as I go along, you know. So that's a quick design, you know. This is agate. Kind of come in and start to burnish it down, and I'm just letting the stone do the work. I'm not even applying any pressure. A basic design, you know. pottery, it's going to be very humbling. Early years, you're going to lose probably about, I'd say maybe 50% of your pots to cracking, to, sometimes you can put them in the fire and they explode from the heat. I always say, it has to be fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. It safeguards me from the stresses in the world and things that are going on that are gonna, worry me, I always tell the little kids, you get to play with mud. If you do it safely, you get to play with fire.
Hi, I'm Tom McNamara, host of Arizona Illustrated. Thank you for watching this Arizona Illustrated story here on YouTube. And if you like that one, well, here's another story we think you'll like.